All right, guys. Welcome to the podcast, Tim in the Wild.
Welcome to the tavern, Tim.
Welcome to the tavern. Got some old fashions.
Thanks for having me.
This is Tim's favorite drink, everybody. You can check out our TikTok to find out how Scott makes it for him. So before we get into it, I have to ask you to give a shout out to my friend Edge Wilson.
Shout out to Edge Wilson.
It's so crazy because my friends will text me and be like, dude, you're related to Tim in the Wild. I'll be like, yeah, why? And they'll be like, check this out. And he sent me a video of Edge walking around going, I'm going to flip this rock over. I found a slimy salamander, and he would pick up like a plastic toy.
That's awesome.
And even my brother Ben is stationed overseas, and he said he was walking through his bunkhouse, and somebody had their bunk closed off, and he heard, today I flipped 10 rocks. He's like, you got to be kidding me.
That's pretty crazy.
All the way across the world.
Yeah, we got our first, what do you call it? Social media influencer.
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 Yeah.
He's got, 245,000 subscribers on...
I don't even know what it's at. It's somewhere
on YouTube. Yeah. I think he's got 440 some on
TikTok,
and another 200,000 on Instagram. It's
and YouTube just sent you a plaque.
Yeah.
What was the plaque for? Reaching
100,000.
100,000.
Yeah. I'm building an army of animal lovers. What I'm doing.
So do you get? Do you ever get anybody sending you messages like, "Hey, man, this is I love this. My kids love it."
Yeah, I get them a lot actually, and that's one of my favorite things
cool.
to get. And I really like when I get the comments of people saying, I saw a snake in my yard today and I didn't kill it because I thought of your video.
Nice.
Yeah. Those are the best.
That was probably the biggest change in my life. Before I met Tim, before he started explaining like the snakes around here, I saw a snake. I immediately had to have it dead. Right then and there. But now I'm learning they're my friends.
That's it. They're good to have around.
Yes.
And hopefully my videos help that.
I think it does. I mean, I looked at the one video, it had 7.1 million views.
Yeah. I try to disguise my videos as entertainment, but I put in a little bit of, hey, don't kill this snake. Hey, this is a salamander. It's disguised. You think you're just getting into, oh, this idiot's going to pick up a snake and get bit by it. But then you really learn that, oh, snakes don't want to bite you. They're not out to get you.
So when and what got you started into this? Like, was it something when you were a kid, and like who helped foster this, or this was just self-driven from, because you have a degree in biology, right?
Yeah, I do.
So you pursued it as a living. And so like, when did you know that this is what you wanted to do for your life?
Okay. So when I was a little kid, I always made YouTube videos. They were just stupid, dumb little videos. But in college, I think it was like the beginning of junior year, I started making, you can scroll back on my TikTok and still see these videos. I would make these stupid little meme videos of my snake because I saw other people doing it and they were getting these sponsorships for all their pet supplies and stuff. I'm like, that's the only thing I spend money on. So I might as well try to get some sponsorships for that. And that's what I started. But then as I started working in the crayfish conservation lab at West Liberty, shout out to them. They're awesome people. I was working on a snake project, and I would go around flipping rocks, and I would find these like cool animals. I would find these salamanders and stuff. Like maybe people would like this. So it's kind of evolved into some other things, but that's what got me started with the main thing.
Yeah, you shot up pretty quick on views and subscribers and followers, and
yeah, people seem to like it. And as long as people are watching, I'm going to keep making them.
And to give a little background of my relationship with Tim, he is my brother-in-law, and as long as I've known him, he's been a hustler. When I first met him, he was running a business. He was melting down fishing lures into just base plastic and then putting them into a mold, making new lures for people. Then he went on to Ice My Dog, he was making bling for dogs. He had
Dog
he
collars,
had,
yeah.
he had dog chains. Like Banjo was blinged out at one point.
Yeah.
But who knew? Flipping rocks was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
It definitely started as a way to make money, but it's definitely evolved into. I would see people, and no hate to them. There's definitely a place for this, but there's people would just catch snakes and be like, "Look at this snake," and then like let it go and give no information
Yeah.
on the animals that they were showing. So I try to inform a little bit, but there's definitely a balance between the entertainment and the information. Because if I were just to start a video and be like, this is why snakes aren't scared of you, nobody's going to watch that. So I have to be
Right,
like,
yeah.
this snake's going to bite me at the end of this. So I try to,
That's crazy. I'm gonna flip rocks until I find a snake that bites me.
yeah. Well, yeah.
Sure
And
enough.
I know what are more likely to bite me and what are not. And
So what's some of the misconceptions about snakes in our area? So you cover a lot of eastern United States.
yeah, I'm
but-
all over the place.
So when you're coming to visit the Ohio Valley in our area, what are some of the misconceptions about the snakes and different animals? Because growing up, I was always told by my protective mother that if a copperhead would bite me, I had 5 minutes to get to the hospital or I was a goner.
So copperheads are very rarely fatal bites, and also in the Ohio Valley, they're a lot less common than people think. Like a
Right.
lot less common. They other snakes often get misidentified as copperheads.
Milk snake would be
Milk
one
snakes,
name.
yep, milk snakes. The water snakes, people think that they're copperheads. I've had people, like when I was working on my research project with the water snakes, they would tell me, "Oh, I kill every single one I see in the road because it's a copperhead." And I'm like, "It's not a copperhead." But really, if you just leave them alone, they won't bother you.
So a copperhead bite, what realistically, if you get bit by a copperhead, what should be your mindset?
You should definitely get to the hospital.
Definitely go to the hospital.
Yeah, I would go get treatment, but you're not going to die usually. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure if you have a severe allergic reaction, you probably die. But
Is there anything around here that you would just, if you flipped a rock and saw it, you'd be, I'll just let it go. Is there any?
around here, no. There's very rarely anything because like I would be out doing this stuff if I wasn't recording anyway. So I'm very interested in
Right.
all the things I find. I would get the camera up close to them, but
Seems
No.
like when you cross the river into West Virginia, then you start getting into things that you need to worry about a lot more in Ohio.
yeah, it's not. You don't really need to worry.
Yeah.
If you know what you're doing, you can correctly identify. But
So on FanDuel, what's the under over for when you find a dead body out in the woods?
Yeah.
Today I'm flipping 10 rocks
Yeah.
and oh look,
No dead bodies
I
yet,
Found,
but-
I found a dead hitchhiker from
Yeah.
1977.
I'm sure I'll stumble across something sometime.
I hope I didn't jinx you next time.
That won't be on TikTok. If that happens. Don't be waiting for that video to come out.
Have you flipped the rock in search of like a snake or an animal and found anything like not anything living, but something like real out of like or something weird, just out of the normal?
Not while I was flipping rocks. When I was working on that research project, we spent a lot of time in the stream. And one time, the grad student and I were out there, and we found, it was horrible, but there was a dead cat in the middle of the stream. And we were like, whoa, what is this? And then some guy comes out, and he's like, thank you guys for cleaning up the stream. Like, he was trying to, like, cover up something, and I thought he did something that was not good. And so I was like, oh, okay. That was definitely the weirdest thing that I came across.
So here's another question. Is there a difference between poisonous and venomous?
There is a difference. So poisonous, you have to ingest the thing. So if you were to eat a poisonous plant, for example, or like a salamander poisonous, that you have to ingest it. But for venomous, you need to be injected into. So like a
Okay.
snake bite, lizard bite, something like that.
Okay.
It's always funny when you read some of your comments. People will be telling a biologist, like, hey, like baby snakes actually are more. I think they were telling you that like baby snakes
not
are
true.
more venomous because they have less control
They
of their
say-
venom
yeah.
glands.
There's no evidence that supports that at all. Also, larger snakes have the capacity to have more venom. It's not necessarily the potency. Baby snakes just have less venom in general because they're smaller. But there's no evidence that shows that baby snakes are more potent or can't control their.
And you handle those argumentative comments well. You come from a very professional standpoint. When I see those comments, like they want to immediately argue, my immediate reaction is to be like, why don't you meet me at Blair baseball field? We'll handle this like some men.
Well, they only know what they know, so I just try to go in and like they're not trying to hate on me. Yeah. They're just trying to educate other people, but sometimes it's wrong.
And you got a good number of posers too.
Yeah.
Copying your stuff and sending out like it's you. And
a bunch of imposters, but what can you do about it?
It doesn't help that you pay $8, you're verified on like websites now.
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
So, can you describe your research that you did with crayfish at West Liberty? Who was your professor? Give him a little shout out.
Dr. Loafman. Shout out to Dr. Loafman. He's a great guy. And shout out to all the grad students that were there in the crayfish conservation lab. They're awesome. And the undergrads, obviously, my fellow cohort. All great people. So I didn't really do much with crayfish. I was more of a side project with the snakes, but we worked with Nerodia Sipodon, which is the northern water snake, and Regina septimvittata, which is the queen snake. And we were pretty much just gathering as much information about both species as possible because they were local to us and we could do a lot of work with them. We would take all kinds of data, like their length and all that kind of stuff. And pretty much we have a bunch of different side projects off of the information we have. I'm currently working, hopefully, on a publication about the queen snake and how it moves around with the change in weather and like when it rains or change in barometric pressure and stuff like that. And I'm working alongside a grad student and Dr. Liffman. So yeah, that's what we did.
Is there a snake in this area that has a more aggressive nature than others?
Yeah, there's some. I mean, you can say they're aggressive, but it's more so they're just trying to get you away from them. So they're gonna strike. But northern water snakes, I can count on one hand how many times I've picked one up and not been bitten.
Right, yeah.
It's pretty. They're pretty defensive. Northern black racers, those are pretty defensive. If you look at I have a video on there where I jumped out of the car and ran up and was recording it, and it strikes at my phone and knocks the phone out of my hand.
There's a pretty nice sized water snake on one of the videos I watched. You really trying to get at you.
Yeah. It doesn't feel great, that size snake. I mean, it's not like, my arm, but they'll draw blood.
So the musking that snakes will do, is that a secretion? How do they produce that musk? Because that's like pretty much the main thing you have to worry about when picking up a snake around here is just them making you stinky.
Yeah,
not actually them. Not actually.
So I'm not sure the actual like chemical makeup, but I know it's like an oil-based something that smells really bad.
Yeah,
and that's their first line of defense, or their like second line of defense. First would be like the strike. I'm gonna be big and bad, but they'll get you all smelly, and hopefully you're like, oh, this is like a rotting dead animal. I don't want this, and that's what they think they're doing.
Are eastern rattlers common around here? Eastern rattlesnakes.
Eastern rattlesnakes.
Is there a type of snake around this area that will shake their tail?
I mean, a lot of snakes will shake their tail because they're trying to imitate, but I don't know about.
What are they trying to imitate? Because I remember we saw a baby snake down in the basement. And
they're trying to make you think that they're a rattlesnake. Is what?
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they shake their tail for, but. I don't know. I don't think there's any. If there are, they're very, very rare.
Okay.
But I think it's Masasaga. I don't know how to say the rattlesnake name, but I think those are the ones that are around here, like timber rattlesnakes. Somewhere, I don't know.
Because we had a baby snake in the basement, and he was looking at us, shaking his tail, and I'm like, "There's a rattlesnake down here." I called him, and he's like, "No, he's trying to make you think he's a lot more dangerous than he actually is."
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about venomous species because I'm just. I don't really work with them that much.
Mm-hmm. Now, you have two snakes of your own, right? What do you have?
I have a corn snake and a ball python. I got my corn snake when I was like 12, so he's pretty old. Got the ball python a few years ago.
Which one recently broke out?
Yeah, my corn snake got out of the enclosure because my cat. I was off somewhere not at home, and my cat was sitting on top of the enclosure and knocked the screen loose. The cat wasn't there, he left, but the snake corn snake found his way out and
It,
into the bathroom. I got a phone call. They're
like you said earlier about telling how you're related to Tim, I'm Tim's stepdad, and his mom went into the bathroom and let out this. Well, first we heard the cat and like knock something down in the bathroom. We were like, "What is this cat getting into?" And she walks in there, and the cat's just looking at the shower curtain. She's like, "Well, what are you just sitting there looking at?" She peels it back. She let out this scream. And I didn't understand her at first. I went running in there. I'm like, what? And as she's trying to catch her breath, she's like, stuh, 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 in the tub. I look over and he's wrapped. I'm like, oh, okay. So I got him, put him in. Again, thanks to Tim, before I'd have like, I'd have had both grill tongs. So I just, I got
pretty
him.
harmless.
Put him back in the cage, and we fixed the cage, but it was just... The good thing is we just had, my uncle had stopped yesterday with my parents at the house, and he is afraid of snakes. And I was thinking, because he's like, "Hey, do you mind if I
never
use
get
out?" Like, I'll do my own videos. Today I flipped one shower curtain.
Yeah.
This is what I found.
My first thought was, my cat killed my snake. That would be the worst thing to happen. Well, thankfully, he just alerted that the snake was in there. So
yeah,
what's wrong with him?
Or if the dog didn't get it. So
yeah. When we first moved here, the old owner left a pile of firewood that I could use for the winter. So I took the tarp off to check it out, and there might have been like 5 rat snakes looking at me, and I texted him like, "If you don't get here today, I'm pouring gasoline over everything and just letting it all burn."
They're good to have around. They'll eat all the rodents and stuff. And usually you don't even really notice that they're around. So
yeah, we have a nice sized garter living right outside now. Every morning he'll pop his head out of like a little piece of sheet metal. I put a piece of sheet metal down so I can kill all the grass and weeds where I want to put a flower garden, and he took up residency, so every morning I check the mail and kind of look at each other. He slips his back.
He's just sitting there like,
I'm surprised out where we live. The only snake that I've seen was a baby corn snake.
It was a milk snake.
Milk snake. That's what it was.
Yeah, I know. I set a few flipboards out there trying to find him. I haven't found him yet.
And like I said, when I saw it, because like you said, it's a misconception because it has almost like that same color and look of a copperhead, and it was a baby one, but I still was like, at first I went to grab it and I was like, ooh, that one looks like it's
I'd be surprised if you found a copperhead around here. I really would. And if you have, send me a picture because I want to see it.
So, milk snakes, they get their name from being in barns, and didn't farmers think that they were sucking the blood off of cows?
Yeah, well, however the story goes, allegedly there's farmers would find them in their barns, the cows, and they'll come in the morning and they're like, "These snakes are drinking all our cows' milk." And I guess that's, for whatever reason, that's what their first thought was. They're not there to eat all the rats and mice around the barn. They were there to drink the milk.
So there was a really popular internet story that maybe you can debunk for us on this podcast. Will a python lay down next to you, body length, because they're waiting to see if they can swallow you whole every night?
Yeah, that has to be one of the most, if you really think about it, that's the most ridiculous thing. How would the snake ever eat in the wild if it had to lay down next to the thing it was about to eat and see if it was long enough to eat it? They're ambush predators. Most snakes are ambush predators. They'll sit and wait. Yeah, and they're not going to
size you up.
Yeah.
And this is also, the story's also coming from a person that thought it would be a good idea to sleep in a bed with a
free range
with a python.
Yeah, free range snake around their house.
Winner of the Darwin Award.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So, in this episode, instead of doing an Ask the Ohio Valley question, Tim is going to ask the 10 string Taverson questions.
Yeah, so I brought a list of animals.
Feel free to play at home too.
Yeah, there's 6 animals here. Some of them are real names, some of them are fake names. These are just the common names for some of these animals. But you guys have to tell me if you think it's a real animal name or a fake animal name. Okay, let's start.
Okay, out of the 6, how many are fake? How many are real? 3-3, 4-2, 5-1.
I'm not gonna tell you that
Okay.
because it makes it more
They're all
interesting.
fake.
It makes it a little bit. Yeah, okay.
All right.
So the first one is a pink fairy armadillo.
Pink fairy
Pink fairy armadillo.
armadillo.
I'm going to say yes.
Pink fairy armadillo.
Just because I don't think that would be something you make up if you had to make up a fake name. I could be wrong on that.
I'm gonna say it's fake.
The pink fairy armadillo is real. It's the smallest armadillo in the world at 6 inches. It has yellowish pink fur on most of its body except for the claws and the saddle-shaped shell. And it's found in the sandy shrublands of central Argentina.
I'm glad you're giving us names like that, not like the Latin name.
Yeah.
Sure,
Well,
whatever.
common names, there's a lot of common names for a lot of animals, but these are like...
Yeah.
So, okay, the next one. The elongated legless shiny snake.
That's fake.
But I'm thinking
Because I think you'd make that up.
I think it's so ridiculous because it says it's legless that it's gonna be real.
Yeah. I would say fake.
I say real.
That is fake.
2 for 2.
Yeah.
Oh for 2.
The next one is the fried egg jellyfish.
Fried.
I'll
egg.
say real. That's a complete guess.
I'll say real.
The fried egg jellyfish is real. The bell, which is like the top part of the jellyfish, looks like an egg yolk floating through the water, and it's found off the shore of the western United States.
Wouldn't that be like a poached egg? More poached egg, poached egg jellyfish. I mean, a fried egg. I mean, but
Yeah.
Okay, the next animal, the fringe-footed pickle brick.
I'm going to go real.
fringe-footed pickle brick.
Right.
Yeah, I'll go real.
That's fake.
There goes my streak.
Okay, the next animal, the tasseled wobgong.
That's real. I have one downstairs.
Oh, okay.
No.
Ironically, that was exactly what we were going to name our band. But, I'll say it's real.
It is real. It's native to the native to coral reefs off the coast of Australia and Papua New Guinea. It is a member of the carpet shark family and an ambush predator. The next animal, sparkle muffin.
Fake.
That's a Care Bear, isn't it?
That sounds like a vape flavor.
Yeah.
Yes, sparkle muffin.
Yeah, but you know the pink fairy armadillo sounds like a drink instead of a
Yeah.
So I'll say real.
Okay, the sparkle muffin is a peacock spider from Australia, named for their courtship behavior, where the male uses its brightly colored abdomen and a third pair of legs to wave back and forth in a dance to try to woo the woman. There you go.
That's how you met your wife.
Yeah, that's all I got there.
Laid on your back and
Yeah.
wiggled your legs.
Throw your legs up.
I just play guitar and wiggled my hips.
That's man, a legless spider or legless snake.
Yeah, I thought I was going to get you guys with that because it's so ridiculous.
I knew I had to play that game by going into the mind of Tim, not going into my knowledge of animals. So, for the viewers listening, your viewers on all social media platforms, tell us about any merch you got going on, how they can rep the in the wild.
Okay, so I am working on some shirts. The design's done. I have one on right now, but this is just like a rough draft because the design's a little bit not in the right place on the back. But shirts are coming soon. Part of the money is going to go to fund some of the videos that I'm going to be making, where I donate part of the money, part of the proceeds, and try to do some really big things. But yeah, there's a way to fund my conservation ideas. So
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. It's giving it back to the community and conservation. That's
Yeah, well, I think I won't say I exploit animals because I love animals and all that kind of thing, but I'm using them, so the least I can do is
yeah,
give back a little bit. So, yeah.
that's awesome.
So, if somebody wanted to go out and flip a rock, is there like a certain method you do? 'Cause I know you always say put it back exactly the way
Yeah.
you found it, but to make sure that we're like promoting the safety of these animals? Like,
So
if somebody would go out, what are
yeah,
some of the guidelines?
for starters, you shouldn't really be doing what I do in the videos where I flip the rock up towards yourself. That's kind of like a big no-no. But like I said, around the areas, I know what's around there, and I know when to do it the proper way, where you flip away in case there's a venomous snake or something
Right.
under there. But lift the rock up, take a picture. If it's a salamander or other type of amphibian, you don't want to pick it up because they have semi-permeable skin, which means things can pass in and out pretty easily. So the oils on your skin are usually no good for them. So usually just let them sit there, take your pictures, and put the rock back. Some people will tell you to move the animal outside of the rock and then put the rock down first. You can do that, but then you're also touching the salamanders and stuff, which is not great. But I put the rock back very carefully. I've showed in videos before. I put the rock back very carefully and then lift it back up, and the animal's perfectly fine.
Right,
If
yeah.
you're not throwing the rock back down, I mean,
Yeah.
it should be pretty fine, and
Yeah,
not
that's-
really crushing anything. There's little micro indentations and stuff that they put themselves down in, so
Yeah.
they're also pretty squishy. So
That was one of my main concerns. Just kids seeing you and be like, I would be like Tim in the Wild. Oh, a salamander just
Yeah.
just-
yeah, that's definitely a real thing. But I've seen a lot of videos. I mean, obviously not everybody's sending me a video, but I people showing me their kids doing it the proper way, put it back very carefully. So
yeah, that's good.
yeah, I try to include that for the people that are watching at home and want to go out and do it. So
That's cool. Like a lot of the videos you see of kids imitating you, getting into that this young. Because like I said, like growing up until I was 31, I was just killing any snake I saw. Just
yeah. I had a awesome video of a kid. I don't remember what his username was, but he tagged me in the video, and he started the video and was like, "My mom told me I was inside playing video games all day, so I'm gonna go outside and flip things like Tim in the Wild." He found a bunch of ants and stuff, but it was still cool that he's going outside. And
My favorite video I've seen so far of somebody imitating you was these two little kids running around their yard, and they pick up a stone, and they're like, "A scorpion!" Oh wait, no, it's just a millipede.
yeah, it's great, inspiring them there. Because I mean, what else would they be doing? Sitting inside playing video games,
Right. Yeah.
Which we all love to do, even.
Yeah, I play video games too, but
yeah, it's
they sit inside all day
but
staring at
it
their
is
phone.
like you said, it's the way video games are and cell phones and everything that kids have, that they didn't go outside and ride their bikes and play. And
I mean, it's not even kids. Like,
Yeah.
like this 20 to like 25 like generation. I've worked with people. This is all they do. It's
Yeah.
just, it's the scrolling thing.
I get comments from mostly older people. They'll say, "Back in my day, we'd go out and flip rocks, and now you guys are watching this guy." But what they don't realize is it's those kids are gonna watch that and then go do it themselves 9 times out of
Right.
10 because it's something fun.
Right.
Yeah. So people like to hate before they think.
Yeah.
yeah, it's also real easy to be a keyboard warrior.
Yeah. I will say
really
I get
is.
more positive comments than negative, but there's been a few, like people who say that I'm destroying ecosystems. I lift the rock up for the time it takes me to record a salamander sitting there and the rock coming up. It's usually the interaction's less than 10 seconds. If it's a snake, I'll pick it up, but I put the rock back first because there's a microclimate and things, temperature gradient, whatever. But I'll pick the snake up and hold it, and then I put it back under. But the whole interaction is usually less than 2 minutes at most, so no destruction going on, I promise.
I mean, if those animals would just realize how famous they were
know.
after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want residual checks.
Yeah.
So
So I had a really important question for you, Tim. When you're here visiting the Ohio Valley, is there like a certain band or a certain group that you just really love to go and see? Maybe like a band that just allows everybody to participate and just have fun.
Yeah, well, really one band comes to mind, and it's the 2x4s. Those are the absolute, it's a good time every single time I'm out there, they're up there letting people do live karaoke. Where else do you get to do that?
No, nowhere else here.
It's amazing.
tonight at the Barton Trap from 8 to 11.
Oh yeah.
But by the time this airs, we
Yeah.
already had it. So it was a
Well,
great show.
The next
you
show,
missed
you
it.
guys should come out.
Well, it's good that they don't know Tim the Wild will be there because we might be
Oh,
over,
yeah.
over occupancy.
Yeah, I might get up there and sing. Who knows? You know.
I hope you do.
I hope not.
You do.
I hope not.
See, Tim is what we call a dud in
Yeah.
our group.
Yeah.
We even had a little graphic made. Him and my wife, they are in full go 100%. They'll do anything we need to do, just not. not
My sister and I are not musically talented whatsoever. So, or the duds.
And you two are sitting there, and your mom's up there just killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amy's a fantastic singer.
Family
Absolutely.
band. Yeah.
That's it.
It's a good time.
Who has been your favorite, like not singer, but like, has there been one person singing a song like your favorite like act so far?
Oh wow. Naturally, I mean, like I said, Amy kills it every time. I'd probably have to say, the one night at the Black Sheep with Ben and Cusick.
Yeah.
They just got up there, and it was. It's always funny when we do a show because when people first get there, they're standoffish. They don't want to get up there. Then when you get the Liquid Courage in, then you start rolling. I think they were in. Their table was like 6 bottles of wine in.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they're up there with the mics and they're dancing and singing,
Singing
and they got
Mr.
the
Mom.
crowd into it. What's
Singing
that?
Mr. Mom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Mom. It was, yeah, that's
One, I don't know if you remember the one kid we had, but we were at Lumberjacks, and there was a not a kid. He's probably like maybe mid-20s, but he was watching the whole show for like 2.5 hours. Finally works up the courage to get up there, and he belts out, "I write sins, not tragedies."
yeah.
Do you remember?
I remember that.
Haven't you people ever? You got so into it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's every time it's been fun every time. No matter where we play, you'll get somebody that really gets into it, and it's just, and you can tell when you hit that point and the one person gets into it, like you said, that's when the Liquid Courage is. So everybody's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get up there," and
Yeah.
and it's a good time. So we're looking forward to it. So you can follow us on Facebook, TikTok.
Everything.
That's it, right? For
Yeah.
2x4s. Now,
mean,
what is your all your social media stuff? It's all Tim in the Wild.
It's some variation of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, with the amount of followers you have, if somebody would want to catch you, pretty much they could just search Tim in the Wild. and
Yeah.
you'd
Yeah.
Be the
It
first one
should
to pop up.
if you were to look into that. So.
That's still awesome. I mean, 7.1 million views on a video. 7 million.
Yeah, sometimes I'll get discouraged because I'll get a video where there's like only 70,000 views, which is a lot of views, don't get me wrong. But then I'm like, who cares? I just told 70,000 people that box turtles are part of the pond turtle family. Like I just it's pretty great.
Speaking of turtles,
Yeah.
for our viewers at home, Tim has an impressive turtle habitat.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is a ecosystem in itself.
Yeah, I have 2 red-eared sliders. I got the one when I was 10, and the other one probably when I was about 12. I got them in a big 300-gallon stock tank. They have their own fish friends in there and things. They got the setup for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If
Yep. And over the winter, you had frogs.
I had frogs in there at one point, yeah.
is there a if somebody wanted to get into like raising a snake or having a snake as a pet, is there one that you would recommend that's like easier than others or like less, maybe like less hands-on?
Yeah, so my ideal beginner snake, I always tell people who ask me this, is a corn snake. Just because they're so...
Is that stubby?
That's what stubby is,
Okay,
yeah. They're so easy temperament. They're not very defensive. Some people recommend a ball python. I don't think that's perfect for a first snake because they can be picky with eating. Sometimes they'll go off for months at a time.
Mm-hmm.
They also have different humidity and heating setup requirements. But a corn snake is a pretty good beginner snake. They're fairly easy to take care of, and they also have amazing personalities. Like, it's pretty cool.
And what store would you recommend? Where do you go to if you needed supplies for it, or if you needed mice, or?
I usually go when I need mice and rats and things like that to feed them, I'll go to different reptile shows
Oh, okay.
versus a certain pet store, just because they're usually better priced and you're getting it from someone who likes the same things as you. I mean, they're also doing the same thing at
Yeah.
home. So
That'll be probably your next step. So hopefully you get called to do a convention, have your own table, sit there.
that'd be
that'd be
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be really good.
Do some type of live event where people could come. That would be cool.
All right, so Tim, we definitely want to have you in again next
for
time
sure.
you're going to our convention, next time you're in town, next time you have an announcement for us. Definitely have you in. Would you like to say any parting words to your viewers on all of social media?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for always watching my videos and the continued support. As long as you guys are watching, I'm going to keep making the videos. So,
Yeah, they're impressive. They're fun to watch.
yeah, I try to make them fun.
And quick shout out to West Liberty where you got your degree.
Yeah.
What was your official?
So my
name?
official degree is in biology with a focus in zoo science and applied conservation. So like animal husbandry and stuff like that, but also with the conservation. I started with just the zoo science, but then quickly realized that I like field work and going out and doing
Right.
conservation things. So
Field work in the most ridiculous looking sandals I've ever seen a human being wear.
yeah, like Chaco.
It makes sense. What are the sandals called?
They're Chacos. Yeah,
Chacos.
Yeah.
It makes sense when he explains like these are what you wear to disturb the least amount of things where you're going, but
Yeah, they
it's got
dry quickly. I mean, it's,
I was a fan.
they're good for what they do. I mean,
I was a fan of the big red Crocs, but
oh yeah, I did wear Crocs for a while and slipped and fell all the time. Yeah,
So it's Tim in the Wild. Check him
Tim
out.
in the Wild.
He's
Yeah,
got new merch. And
big stuff coming soon. Hopefully, been really focusing on YouTube here lately, so definitely go check that out. There's more to come.
yeah, hopefully some of our subscribers from Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and such, they'll hear about this and check you out. If you haven't seen it, just plan on taking the rest of the afternoon because you're just gonna sit there and keep scrolling and watching the next, watching the next one, watching the next one.
and like I said earlier, it's just crazy when people text me like, "Dude, you're related to Tim in the Wild." I'm like, "Yeah, he was flipping shingles out back like 5 minutes ago." What do you want
I'm
me to
just
say?
having fun out there. That's all. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
All right, Barry. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for having me,
Tim in
guys.
the Wild. Check him out.
All right, cheers.
I'm empty.